Thanks very much, Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Greer. Thanks for our meeting. As Senator Cassidy and Senator Graham and others and I work together towards trying to figure out a proper border tariff, will you provide us technical support and information to help inform our discussions as we proceed?
Senator Whitehouse, again, thank you for that meeting yesterday as well, and hearing about the possibilities of. I think you're referring to the tariffs on
pollution.
Yes, that's exactly right, on pollution. So I think when it comes to this problem, just to, if you'll indulge me for a few seconds.
Well, I don't have very many seconds in my question.
I'll put it this way.
Will you help
I'm
us?
happy to work with you, Senator.
There you go.
That's the answer you want, right?
Because we do need your team's technical assistance as we develop a bipartisan proposal. We each have our own, and we'd like to meld them. Second, in my days on the Intelligence Committee, I developed the proposition that the largest theft in human history was the theft by the Chinese of American intellectual property through cyber intrusions. In my view, that theft has never been properly recognized in our commercial relationship with China. Is that kind of history of massive theft an appropriate consideration in designing a commercial policy with China, including tariffs?
Yes, Senator, I think that's fundamental to it, and I think that was a driving force behind much of what we did in the first Trump administration with respect to China.
And third, there is an issue that I think trade policy can help quite a lot, but that we very often overlook here. I'm a Rhode Islander, ocean state, fishing community, and what is going on in international fisheries is really a crime. There are pirate fishing fleets out there that answer to no one, whose crews are essentially modern-day slaves. There is a predatory Chinese fishing fleet, and I would put the word fishing fleet in quotes because very often they're doing other business for Chinese intelligence services and the military. And we don't have a very robust response to that. When we met in Munich for the Munich Security Council with the four-star head of AFRICOM, he said one of the most important things we could do to buttress our relationships with our friends in coastal Africa would be to provide support for them to detect criminal fishing operations, to be able to identify who's doing the criminal fishing operations, and possibly even to enforce against those criminal fishing operations. Our fisheries are having really unfair competition from pirate fishing fleets and from the Chinese fishing fleet that are offshore. And it strikes me that they are pretty significant tariff ways. When it's a pure pirate operation, it's going to take some doing to trace it back to the nominal home of the vessel. Where it's China, boom, you know. But I would ask you to work with particular Senator Sullivan and myself, who have been working hard on this issue. We have a bill we hope will pass this year to increase the penalties and the transparency around the pirate fishing fleet, slave fleet, if you will. And to the extent that this can become a part of our tariff policy, it would be, I think, very, very helpful. It would protect American fisheries against illegal and brutal foreign competition, and with the side benefit that the rapacious behavior that's happening in our seas is causing massive, massive environmental damage and crushing of fisheries. Many of the top-level fish are down, 90% from their previous numbers because these fleets are operating without restriction, without law, and without consequence. Is that something you'd be willing to work with Senator Sullivan and me on to try to put a hard stop to?
Yes, Senator. This is an issue that's important to me, too.
I know we don't talk about fisheries much, but I really encourage my colleagues to consider that because it's not just a question of economic competition. Our fishermen versus their fishermen. It is also the fact that the Chinese fishing fleet is an extremely predatory extension of Chinese power into a whole bunch of areas. And unless we're taking that on as a national security problem, we're missing a very significant part of the problem set here. So thank you.
I agree with the points you made about our fisheries, Senator Whitehouse. We need to pay attention to them.
Looking forward to working with you on it, Mr. Chairman, and with, of course, Senator Sullivan.